trash about that, but in reality, like, it's really hard not to like Aaron Judge, man. He even took me deep, and I still, like, love him. 50-50 or 63 home runs? Like, which one's going to happen or which one's better? Because I think 50-50 is more rare, which is weird to say. The balls are juiced. It's so funny. Everyone's like, the balls are juiced, but also offense is down all the way around the league, too. So, like, it's all conspiracies at this point. Used. Hey, Trevor, it's my birthday. What up, Cal Cliffs? Happy birthday, bro. Welcome back. Which is more impressive? I'd say 50-50. 50-50 is more impressive because there's only a couple guys in history that could ever do it, and it's like, prime Barry Bonds. Like, is there a 50-50 guy? Did you watch Judge's Paw Patrol episode? Not yet. No one's ever done 50-50. So I'd say 50-50 is more impressive than 63 home runs. Also, 63 home runs is just 13 more home runs. Like, all conspiracy. We're talking about baseball, right? Sport where people cheat constantly. Well, it's so funny. We talk about people cheating constantly, and then at some point, it's no longer cheating. It's a feature, not a bug. Right? At some point. You can say things are in the rule book, but if you don't enforce them, they're not rules. Rules are rules when they're enforced. So, a lot more home runs? 13 more home runs? 13 home runs is not more impressive than 50 stolen bases, is my point. You know what I mean? It's not that Judge has 0 stolen bases, but he has what, 10? I don't know. He probably has like 35, and I don't even know. We're just not paying attention. Yeah, but it's cooler. True. Who should Fisher sell to? I don't know. not the dude in Sacramento. He looks like another version of him. I don't know. Just anybody. I just want John Fisher to disappear into the ether. I just don't want to listen. I don't want to interact or see any of his trash businesses anymore. Because he's just an entitled douche, frankly. He is the prime example of how being raised in extreme wealth can change your, like, can create a toxic view of the world where you are the most entitled person that you can't even wrap your head around the idea of entitlement. You don't even know what it means because you've been entitled for forever. Like, you've never had any experiences outside of being entitled, where you can't even understand where people are coming from at all. You know what I mean? What was your focus during catch play? Depending on the day, Joe. That's a great question. Once I got out to really long toss, it was about back spinning the ball as best I can, or at least consistently spinning it, which is really interesting because I'm going to parlay that into talking about Josh Hader later, which is really interesting. I wish the Tins would give me existential depression. Why do they give you existential depression? I think that's just sports, my guy. I think that's just sports. Shohei been slumping, but he getting back to normal. Harper's been slumping, but getting back to normal. Marte is on fire, but hurt. I still think Shohei wins MVP. Who do you think? At this point, I'm kind of rooting for Ketel Marte because he's different. I love Kettle. How's Kate doing? Thank you for asking, Zetters. Kate's doing very well, guys. We are. That is a great way to get into what we're actually going to talk about now. I'm doing a little intro. Actually, I want to play a little music in the background. I'm going to actually get some high pass going, because it's going to make more sense for what we're going to talk about. I got a lot of stuff to talk about today, interesting things, but like always, I want to make sure that we're doing the things that you guys want to talk about first. So also, questions about baseball, about the state of the game, whatever, hit me. Hit me with them all day. Don't be shy. Okay, where is it? High pass. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. It's the first thing that popped up. Let's just play it on. Bro, high pass? High pass still has 500 monthly listeners. Will the Mets re-sign Pete Alonso? Only if he's a lot cheaper. Only if he takes a team-friendly deal to get back on the horse. Here's the way that Pete signs. If Pete signs a one-year deal or a 2-year deal with like a opt-out after the first year with the Mets, that's the only way they get him. They're not gonna probably re-sign him to a long-term deal. I think that ship has sailed. Because it's only gonna hurt Pete. And also he's got Scott Boras, which is another thing we're gonna talk about. Thoughts on Soto's free agency? He's just gonna make a fudge ton of money. Where's he gonna go? To one of the 4 biggest teams? Probably Yankees. I have a feeling, I know this isn't very exciting, but I have a feeling that Juan Soto is going to sign with the Yankees, and it'll be boring. Do you think the MLB will benefit from salary cap? No. Because you cannot have a salary cap without a floor, and salary cap disproportionately will always help the owners, no matter what. No matter what cases we make. You can't have a salary cap with that much control over players. They have to give up control to have a salary cap. Boras doesn't do team-friendly deals. Well, technically, like Blake Snell's deal is a team-friendly deal, and so is Jordan Montgomery's. Now, so yes, he does. He doesn't want to, but he does. Why is Soto signing with the Yankees boring? Because he's already on the Yankees. Not that it's like it's boring to the rest of the league. Like, what I'm saying is for Yankees fans, it's awesome. But like you kind of like for the sake of drama and sweepstakes and teams bidding against each other and stuff, I think he's just going to sign with the Yankees again, and it's just going to be he's just a Yankee. I just think he's a Yankee. And I think they haven't signed, like, they signed Judge, but, like, that was should have been kind of a shoo-in anyways, also. So, like, but, like, other than that, since the aughts, since before 2010, they haven't done as many big contracts. So they're kind of due for a mega that for like a young guy to be there forever. I think you're crazy if you don't have Juan Soto and Aaron Judge together forever. Like that, those two combined, if they just stay healthy, you don't need anyone else. They're going to compete. You know what I mean? Like they're going to compete every year. You could fill in with scrubs around them, which they won't, but that you could, and they'll be in the conversation bare minimum as long as they're healthy. Like they're that good. But yeah, that's what I meant, Kibra. Like I think it would be great. I actually want him to be a Yankee because I think he fits really well there. I love when guys go and they love where they are and they can become like, I don't know, I kind of want the Yankees to become the evil empire again, not the Dodgers. I think Mets are going to sign way more people this year. They're going to sign more, but not way more. Don't get your hopes up about the Mets going crazy, guys. Stearns doesn't go crazy, and Steve Cohen learned his lesson. But that said, they probably will do a really good move, like they'll get a guy to come in and help, hopefully a pitcher, and then they'll probably do a few savvy moves, where some mid-tier contracts, and then really hope that Vientos and Alvarez continue to go. I think that's the smartest way to do it. But pitching is the thing they need. They need maybe go get go grab one of the better like late inning guys that's not a closer, so like a guy you can get for like 3 or 20. 3 or 24, something like that. That makes sense? Is the Mariners slump just bad BABIP luck? Absolutely not. They're just bad at hitting. They have had a bad BABIP. It's not helping. It doesn't help. But it's not. You can't. They're hitting 216. Like. And I know hitting's really freaking hard. Trust me, I can't even hit in a wiffle ball league. So I'm not gonna say here and be like they should be hitting, but they aren't, right? So like it's one of those things like if I was getting criticized for my pitching and I wasn't pitching well, I'd be like, yeah, no, you know what, guys, I have faith in myself and this pisses me off, but I also acknowledge that I am not pitching well and I need to pitch better right now. Like. We both can be right. So that's what I think is happening. Bernabelle, subbed. What up, brand new sub? Let's get some Team of Ones in the chat. Guys, by the way, memberships on YouTube now are live. And you get your badges. The badges are the same as they are on Twitch. So if you want your little badge next to your name, you can become a member on YouTube, guys. Also, make sure you like the YouTube stream if you're over there. If you're on Twitch, really quickly, just open that YouTube stream and like it real quick. Thank you. And I just want you guys to know that memberships are a dollar cheaper over there. By the way, did you guys see that the mobile price for the Twitch subs have gone up? Now, I know I'm on Twitch and I'm talking about this, but it needs to be said. I'm sorry that a normal sub is now $8 on iOS, and I'm sorry that the company that runs this platform hired a CEO who comes in to just cut the fat and make the thing money and then act like he's everyone's friend, and that nobody at Twitch, it was there when it was incepted, and that Amazon is the bane of society's existence long term. Sorry about that. Merrill Rookie of the Year. I think Jackson Merrill is probably going to be Rookie of the Year at this point, along with the guy we watched, Colin Cowser, probably. What up, Sonic? What would a Vladdy Jr. extension look like? That's really interesting because he's so young. Don't be surprised if he gets a 7-8 year extension. It depends, right? I would say go for a how old is he? That's the thing. The thing is, he would want to take it to his 31-year-old year at the latest. So however many years that is. What is that? 6 years? Thoughts on Dylan Cruz? I'm unfamiliar. Let's get Wounded Gingerman back 33 months. Hello, our Aussie friend. How are you? When you start your Amazon competitor, I order everything I own on Amazon, guys. Let's be very clear about this. But that doesn't mean that I think Jeff Bezos sucks ass, because there's no human anyone, honestly. I do not know you as a person. If you routinely buy houses and want to own real estate that is $150 million when you're one fucking person, like if you buy houses that have 10 plus bedrooms in there for no reason, I like your priorities. Like, I know where your priorities are. I don't need to know anything else, and respect level drops because one person doesn't need anything like that. Should you be able to do it? I don't understand. I don't understand the desire. You know what I mean? So, anyway, enough about that. Have you seen the thing pitching its post about Bryce Miller, that Tunney, absolute beautiful mean? Whoa. Yes, I did see that. We can watch it in a moment if you would like. After we get through housekeeping, because I really want to make sure we talk about it. Okay, guys, the show from now on. The show from this point on will be every Monday. We're doing Mayday Mondays from now on. Sunday Night Baseball, the Nerdcast, was a 5-game contract that has expired. We had a great time the other night doing it. One of the topics we talked about right at the end of that game is one I'm going to talk about today more in depth, and I think you're going to find very interesting, because I've been looking for opportunities to do this. Finally, I got to see Josh Hader throw in a game, so I got to talk about it on TV. I got to talk about it here now. But every Monday, so it's Monday at 8 a.m. It's going to be Monday at 8 a.m. from here until probably through next year. Like, I don't have any, I'm not anticipating, I'm going to take some weeks off, obviously, but I am not anticipating having to go anywhere. We are now 4 weeks exactly, I believe. Yes, we're 4 weeks exactly from the due date. Oh, actually, we're officially where baby boy ain't gonna be. He's not gonna be late if he's born. Only 5 games. Yeah, we did 5. So basically, it was a trial. Like, we had a focus group and stuff last week. So hey, let me just put it this way: the more you guys say, "Wow, I love the Statcast broadcast," if you really liked it, if you say that on Twitter and stuff, that helps. That helps. We had a really good time doing it. Any sneaky option for 2025 Rookie of the Year? There's so many rookies. I mean, I got to think about that. He'll be a nice birthday present for me, yeah. Who's winning the NL West? The Dodgers. Does Aaron Judge hit 600 career home runs? That's really interesting, because he is older than a lot of people know. He's 32. He would have to, what's he at, like 3? He would have to hit a lot. He would have to hit like 50 home runs 7 more times in order to do it by the time he's like 38, 39. I don't know, man. Judge doesn't care about career stats? Yeah. I mean, you don't know that. Just because he has never said anything about it does not mean he doesn't care. But I don't think he doesn't care like as much as A-Rod does. That's for sure. But I don't know. But one thing I do know is Judge won't like hang around and play longer just to chase stats. That won't be why. Rich Hill got called into Boston. Can we talk about Rich Hill and how amazing that person is? That person is ridiculous. He didn't even know about his 1,000th hit. He just got it, right? Just got 1,000. I think Judge will be like 530. He cares. It's not no, but yeah, he cares to a level. Like I cared a lot because I like stats, but it wasn't about accumulating them for me. Like it wasn't about celebrating milestones. I actually struggled with celebrating at all, which is, by the way, I watched Bull Durham. I did my research for the next movie breakdown video of Bull Durham, and goddamn, guys, there's some. I'll be honest. I don't, now that I'm retired and really like experienced a lot of this stuff. Goddamn, Crash Davis gave some shit. He gave some shitty advice. And I cannot wait to talk about it. Some of them stuff's great, but some of the stuff's old school and just unhelpful. And probably is the reason he was in the minors the whole time. Judge knows how good he is, but doesn't want to express it verbally. It's called being humble, guys. Grandpa Rich still pitching. Amazing. He keeps going. Dude, he was like, I'm retired. And then he's like, oh, never mind. 50 homers in each of his next 6 or 7 years. No chance with anyone. It's probably him. Yeah, Luke, well said. It's one of those things like, yeah, that's very unlikely, but he is also about to break the AL record twice in 3 years in homers. So, like, you know, maybe we shouldn't count Aaron Judge out for doing something like that. Especially with, like, him turning into a DH is going to be really helpful for him, and he will do it at some point, and he might hit more. It will be interesting to see actually how he does as a DH, because eventually he will become one, guys. He'll be 30, you know, he'll be 35, 36, 37, won't be center field anymore. He's still a great outfielder, but like eventually when you're that big, you're just like one year he's going to come in and he's going to be struggling physically, and they're going to have to DH him. It's going to happen. Hopefully not for a few years, but it's going to happen. But it's just interesting how guys change as hitters when they become DHs and they don't have the field. And to be honest, it's hard to tell with Judge because I don't really know. I don't know if it'll affect him. I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't affect him at all or it made him better. But sometimes sitting there and holding your bat, I know Pete Alonso, great DH. He hits great when he's a DH, but he hates it because he just like gets antsy. He sits there and thinks about it all the time. When do you think Jason Dominguez finally gets in the Yankees lineup? September 1st. Soon? I came across a few of your scouting reports last night. Did you realize the scout said your curveball was your best pitch? I do. That's why. So it's funny. Scout said my curveball was my best pitch. The reason I switched to a slider is because what happened the first time I threw my slider was it was a much harder, much sharper version of my curveball. It moved the same way. It was smaller, but I added like 7 miles an hour. Like it went from 78 to 85 with only a loss in like 20% movement. So the analytics team was like, dude, throw that like immediately. It was immediate. First day, they were like, dude, you need to just scrap your curveball. And that's what it was. I just found a better version of my curveball, but for all intents and purposes, it was the same pitch. What do you think about Duran velo being down 1 to 2 miles per hour this year? Well, you know, when you throw 99.8 on average and you drop down to 98.5, it's going to happen. That's just how it works. I wouldn't worry about Duran. Look at like Louis Castillo. He was throwing 98, 99 2 years ago. Now he's throwing 95 to 98. Like, right? That's a couple miles an hour drop, but it's not like he's going from 99 to 94. Right? That's just called attrition. That's just what happens. Atrophy. Called the universe. We all age, man. They called your slider a Brad Lidge slider. When you went to the Mets and changed your grip? Yeah, it was Brad. So Brad Lidge had depth. He threw a slider that went straight down. That's rare. That's hard to do. but I tried to. That is how I adjusted it. The grip was more like Urban Santana, but like it was. That's the type of movement I had. I had very similar movement to Brad Lidge. Actually, Brad Lidge had ride 2 before we knew what it was. One thing that I think that Lidge could have done when he was playing, and it's funny for me to say this for a guy with like 300 plus saves in his career, but he could have thrown a splitter. Probably. You think Taijuan Walker's done? No, I don't know. I actually haven't talked to Ty this year. I don't know if he might be. It might be one of those nagging injury because he's gone on and off the IRL. If guys go on and off the IL several times, there's something they've never felt. They keep coming back like, it's not quite right? Like, and that can just derail you all year. Just look at like JP Crawford. He went on the IL for hand injuries twice. So like when he comes back, it's gonna be a minute because all year he's played with hand pain. So it takes you time to get over. It's like one of those things. So I would give it an offseason. It comes back and it's the same thing, then maybe. What do you think? Marco Luciano is going to be a bust? I would hold on to that thought. He is. Is Luciano in his second year? The guy's still so toolsy. It's incredible. He's a specimen. So like I would hold off on that. But I don't know. I give guys three seasons of a lot of major league time. Basically, if you get 2 off seasons with major league time under your belt and you haven't you kind of slot into where you're going to be at that point, right? Who do you like for college football? Your personal favorite? Washington Huskies. That one was easy. Yeah, Luciano's about to turn 23. Yeah, give him one more year. You playing fantasy football this year? I'm gonna play in a friends league. Yeah. You think Walker Buehler can overcome the mental of not having the same command after being hurt for 2 years? Got to be tough mentally. Yeah, Brian. Also, you got to remember Buehler's. You can tell he's not super confident in his stuff yet. So he's used to being a power guy. He's like 93 to 95. It's not like he's throwing like 90, right? But he's still like he's hoping for it to come back. That's why he stayed in the minors for a while, because he's used to pitching in a certain style, power on power. He's got to nibble a little bit more, and on top of that, his command isn't as good either. So like he's just not feeling fully ready, fully sharp yet, and it's probably going to take an off season for him to feel it. So I would again hold off. Give a guy fully healthy. Give a guy a year or an offseason of being healthy. What do you think the Jays do with Bo? I have no idea, bro. Brownie Bananas, 4 months. Thank you. Welcome back. What's happening to Burns? In terms of what? What do you think of Pedro Martinez saying he would throw a fastball high inside and off speed down on the way to Judge? Me personally, I don't think that works. The Judge faces that already. But that is the way he gets out, Ethan. He's not saying that it'll work every time, but he's saying it is the best way to be successful. But yeah, you know Aaron Judge he's got a hole down and away on a slider. You can throw a slider down and away in the strike zone. It's just got to be like in a really tight little spot. But if you hit that spot every time, he's out. He knows that. The problem is every other pitch he hits, and hitting that spot 3 times is, as you can see, very hard to do. But guys who do it, he swings and misses. He still strikes out a lot, but he just has his 2 spots. And if you can get him thinking there and go up and in with the fastball, sure. He's got spots you can hit. You just have to hit him every time, and the margin for error is really small, and nobody's hitting him every time because it's very hard. Judge K rated his career low, about 23%. That's still pretty high, Zach. Like 23% still a 1 of every 4 at bats. Like he still strikes out. You can still strike him out. It's possible. And the fact that that's his lowest of his career just shows you how much he strikes out. But that's his only thing. That's it. But that is the way to approach him. Pretty sure he hit number 50 on a slider down and away. We'll see where down and away. I mean down and away, like on the edge, not just down and away generally. Down and away painted on the black on the bottom of the zone. That is a pitch he very rarely hits out. He is Aaron Judge. He is 6'7", and he is 260 pounds. So, yes, he can go down and get him from time to time. But if you throw the pitch there every single time, he's going to miss it far more than he hits it hard. The problem is guys try to do it, and then it's just it's like 2 inches higher, and then it's crushed. The pitch he hit was hung. Exactly. How much do you think of Judge K-Ray is related to truly Estevez? A lot, because his bat has to travel really far. And when you're bigger, you're just generally a little bit less twitchy. So, like, yeah, he's going to have a hole or two. It's the way it is. There's few guys that don't. The only reason Arias doesn't strike out very much is because he's got such a slow bat and he drags it through the zone. But he's also just trying to hit the ball lightly into the outfield for a single. So, like, that's the trade-off, right? Any opinions on Bauer where he might end up sitting? I don't think Trevor Bauer's going to get signed, and I don't know why people continuously still think that. I don't know if he's going to. It's just going to be random. It's nothing to do with performance. It's nothing to do with how legal proceedings are going. It's just going to be random. A team's randomly going to do it, so there's no way to predict. All right. Oh, by the way, I don't know why it just took me so long to get to this. Check this out, boys and girls. Not this, obviously. But I just ninja put up the merch site. It is exclamation point merch. We have our Just Punching tickets. I hope you like this little thing. I made it myself. And we got the stickers. We got the hats. We got some JPT hats, which are pretty cool, I think. And we got the dad hat and then the black one, which you can get in a bunch of different colors and brims and whatever. Just Punch tickets. This is the Mets version. I'll put up the other ones if you guys want them, but I just thought I would do this for a test. And then we have the Yankees, A's, Dodgers, Giants, Mariners, and Mets up for the shirts, so you can get them a bunch of different colors. And then all the stickers for all the teams, including the Mayday sticker. So Toronto, Houston, Detroit, you see them all. You got them. You guys get it. You guys understand. So, basically, and then for the promo, it's 20% off if you guys order today for the launch. So everything's 20% off. Yeah. So if you're interested, I can show them to you actually. So this is the big sticker. This is the medium size sticker. As you can see for size, that's the back of my hand. Pretty good size. And then here's the little one. Which the little one, I think I'm going to drop the price on. So I would say get the two big ones. And then we'll have it in the next few days that if you buy a bunch of them once, then you'll get a huge discount. And they're $6. Basically, this is like marked up $1. What do you think of the Yankees DFAing Michael Tonkin after he pitched well for them? Can you explain it? The thing is with Tonk, he is not expensive. He's not making a ton of money. And as soon as he needs a spot, he was just going to be one of those things like really short leash for his whole time. Like how is he throwing? So anyway, merch is up, guys. You can pick that stuff up. Also, if you're on YouTube, the store has the stuff in it. So if you click on store, click on any of the things, it'll take you right there. Or if you're in the chats, exclamation point merch. It's just things that I thought you would enjoy. The shirts are $35. They're really nice. We have it's the oversized version too, so they're a lighter, baggier fit. But it's like really high quality material. Trust me, they're really like durable. So and they fit bigger. They're not like tight athletic fit. They're more like a streetwear type fit. And then we have the hats. So if you're interested, check them out. I think you'll enjoy. The rocket behind Houston sticker is a nice touch. It was pretty fun, man. I liked making it. So I just thought that'd be fun to put out there. I was going to do a big launch, but I'm not worried about it. I'm going to be adding stuff regularly on there. These are designs that I made. So this is more like a fun creative project that I'm doing and I wanted to do. And I thought would be a good time. He had an under a 2 ERA for the second half with us, yeah. But what's he at now? Somehow Tonkin has a negative WAR despite a 3.74 ERA. Yeah, don't look at WAR for relievers. Okay, Minotaurus. Coach Trev, I had an awesome moment I wanted to share. Played town ball against the summer. Again this summer after not doing so for 3 years. Got matched up against Jack Morris's youngest son's team and got to throw with Mr. Morris in the stands in our playoff game. You played catch with Jack Morris in the stands? One of my coolest moments in pitching ever. That's pretty awesome, man. Congratulations. Yeah, Tonkin had a 6 since the All-Star break. Yeah, that's how it worked. He became their long reliever. Exactly. So that's what happens. He basically becomes like he goes in the crosshairs for a young guy coming to take his job. That's how it works. And Tonkin is my age. Tonkin's 34. So like he's also older. This is kind of how it works. Oh, you were throwing when he was in the stands. Got it. You weren't throwing with him. You were pitching, with him in the stands, not throwing with him in the stands. I thought you were like played catch with him in the stands. Grammar. Am I right? What do you think about Christopher Sanchez? Kind of struggles second half, but still been pretty good. I mean, he just survives on his slider and his sinker. He's just kind of a. He just needs BABIP help to be successful. It's just the way he is. So it's not surprising that he came down there. Same thing with Ranger Suarez. What makes Ryan Walker so effective? The fact that he throws high 90s, he throws across his body, he throws low 3/4, and he's got a wipeout slider. Is it the same as Romo whenever the slider's coming? No, he throws 97. There's also that. He throws high 90s. That's the difference. But yes, he's a Romo-esque guy. He's a Romo-esque guy. But yeah, you have to respect the fastball. With Romo, people were like, okay, well, I can adjust to an 87, right? But yeah, it's the approach angle, it's everything. It's all the stuff. It's weird. All right, let's talk a little bit about some news. You guys want to talk about some news? I thought this would be interesting. Let's get in to a little news. We had a first happen. We had another first, guys. For the first time in the history of the world, Danny Jansen playing against himself. How cool is that? Not only that, he's catching when someone during an AB that he started and then had a pinch hitter for. That's freaking awesome. That's freaking awesome. You think Corey Lewis will have a chance to make the majors now that he has knuckleball? Maybe. We'll see how good the knuckleball is. Is Ryan Walker close to what Miguel Castro was? I think Ryan Walker might be better than Castro. Is Mark Vientos overachieving this year, or is this who he can be in the future? I think he's playing up to his potential. I don't think he's overachieving. But I wouldn't be surprised if this was kind of maybe towards the top of the peak, though. I don't know how much better he'll get. Another time this almost happened, not almost because it couldn't have physically happened, but there was a time where Edwin Jackson was traded the day before he was going to pitch to the. So basically, he was traded the day before to the team he was about to pitch against, and for a split second on the app, it said Edwin Jackson was pitching against Edwin Jackson the next day, which was really funny. Of course, it changed, but he was almost listed to pitch against himself. Have you seen Denzel Clark play? Not only have I not seen Denzel Clark play, that's the first time I've heard that name. So here's the thing about prospects and young guys and freshly drafted guys. I am going to do a lot more work this offseason looking into those guys and reading more minor league stuff. But guys, keeping up with the big leagues is hard enough. Keeping up with 1,000 players in the minor leagues, no matter where they were drafted from or whatever, is next to impossible for me. Do you think Dan Wilson is actually the permanent manager for the M's moving forward? I don't know. We'll have to see because I don't know if they've slated him as a manager. There's a lot of guys they think they can handle the job for a bit, but long term, that's not a job they want to do. And sometimes that's what comes into it. Like Dan would shift back into a role in the organization somewhere else. But like, there's no way to tell. No way to tell. Anyway, this was just an interesting thing that happened. I thought it would be, anytime there's a first in the major leagues, I think is a pretty cool thing. And this isn't one of those Kim Kirkjian things. This is a true first time ever. So I thought that was really, really interesting. Next up, I want to talk about an umpire again. I know. And I will answer your Mariners question after I talk about this, sir. So let's shelf that for 1 second. But I wanted to show you this moment. Okay. So this is interesting. Okay. This is a prime example of the difference between an umpire that's just doing their job and an umpire who wants to be that inserts themselves into the game. And I've talked about CB and the stuff he pulls, and he pulled some BS the other day. And I thought Walker Buehler and by extension, Dave Roberts' reaction to this was incredible. So let's just watch this thing. I know this is probably gonna get DMCA'd or muted on the stream, but I'm okay with that. We're gonna play with audio because I want you to hear what's happening.
To put him out there in center field.
So he's facing Julio Rodriguez, obviously, in the 4th inning. I believe this game was Tuesday when Seattle was in LA.
And talking about how they can control his running a little bit better on the base paths. It's kind of out of their control, obviously, once he gets out there in center field. And that breaking ball could have been strike 3. Julio catches a break.
Walker goes, "Where is that?" Right? So watch him react. He's like, "Okay, where is that?" Because he's getting frustrated.
And that breaking ball.
Watch CB.
Julio catches a break.
It went around the zone. So here's one thing you need to know. Now look at where Walker is right now. And now, yeah, I mean, it was a close pitch. You could have gone either way, honestly, but it's not where he wanted to throw the ball, and he's frustrated. Like we've talked about it. Buehler is frustrated with how things are moving, how the ball feels coming out of his hand a little bit, and just about how his year's gone so much because he's, worked really hard to come back. I totally understand that. He deserves to be frustrated. Okay? He goes, "Okay, where's that?" Because he's like, "Can I get some help?" Because I've been there. We've all been there. Come on. But here's here's the difference. He said something, now he's walking back. He's like, "It went around the zone." He goes, "No, it didn't." And then now he's walking back. And now CB comes out and takes his mask off. So now CB is engaging. CB is prolonging this now. CB is now, Walker started the fire. Now he's throwing some wood on it because CB loves this stuff. Watch him.
And
it went around. And Walker is walking back like he was done. And now CB's continuing it because he loves it. Right?
Now CB Buck.
And then Will Smith's like, "Come on, like, I got it. Don't worry, I got it." They're trying to avoid it. Dave's like, "Hey, please don't get thrown out, Walker. It's the 4th inning."
And is sending it right back his way. And now Dave Roberts is coming out, palms up.
So right here, now I want to talk about this too. See where Walker is. He's getting away. He knows too. He's like, "I can't get thrown out here. I cannot get thrown out here. I really do not want to get thrown out." Dave Roberts knows. Look, Muncie's like, "Hey, we're not getting thrown out. Don't get thrown out. We don't want to tax the bullpen more because the bullpen has been throwing a lot." So very savvy. He's like, "Why is he yelling?" He's like, Dave's. You also notice Dave's not looking at him. So if you look down like this and he's placating, right? He's like, "Hey, you know what? Hey." And if you just don't look him in the eyes, you're not challenging him. This is like animal behavior right here. This is he's deferring to him. He's like, "You're right. Calm down, CB." So now everyone's just like, "It's okay, CB." Like patting him on the head, like, "Hey, we'll do what you want. We'll do what you want. Like, please don't randomly throw somebody out because you're exerting yourself." Like, they know how to handle him. They do. Like, so this is really well done by the Dodgers. All right. So there's the pitch. It's close, whatever. He's got a point. He's frustrated. He goes, "That's not in."
From even the back of him right there, him barking at CB Buckner.
See, he's done.
He was asking him where it was at. It was just smiling about it. The
okay.
Side, or where was it at? That's perfect.
And this is the next pitch.
Allowed to do that.
This is the next pitch. Calls time. CB's like, you got to look at him. Of course, he steps way out here.
And now Julio.
Watch him. Watch him. And now look at Buehler. So CB runs out here and does this super aggressively, like, come on, man, what? Like, just to instigate. He's instigating. He could do this. He could be like, hey, man, don't forget. But instead, he's doing it all aggressive because he wants to get a rise. And Walker's like, you're not going to get me. So he just walks away immediately and laughs. This is my favorite. So he's just trying to calm himself down. This right here. Watch Dave Roberts. Watch the breath he takes. So I saw that live, and I was like, that is Dave Roberts going, calm down, Dave. I loved it. It's so, yes, he's itching to toss him. He's like, he wants to toss him. And they took the high road, and I just wanted to show you. So this is something that a lot of people wouldn't have noticed, but this is something all the players are noticing. Now all the Dodgers are like, oh, my God, CB. So, like, if he goes and misses a call later, the chances they turn around and go are much higher now because they all saw that. They feel like he's just instigating, and it's annoying. It's annoying. It's just it's what toddlers do. It's like it's middle school, lunch. It's just why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? Someone who has all the power in the game, because umpires have all the power. They can throw anybody out at any time. They have power. They are the top in terms of who's playing and who's not. The umpires have the most power. And he wields it like a freaking sledgehammer, and it drives me crazy. But that is what it comes down to. He feels powerful, and that's why he does shit like that. That's why remember when I told you the story about how he stood way off on the line when I needed to do a hand check and made me, like, veer off to go to him last year? Instead of meeting me on the line to the... So, like, the player who's warming up and who has to physically work and go do something needs to run a little bit farther to get to CB. And he did it to me on purpose because it's just a power move. And it's like I'm not even thinking about it. And I look over and like, hey, do you need me? He goes, I'm right here. I'm like, why are we having this interaction right now? Grow up. But, of course, I'm like, no, he knows I can't do stuff like that and I have to go play. He just wants to – he knows I can't do anything, and so he does it. He's just – that's classic immature bully behavior. It's just immature. Is CB the new Angel? Actually, CB's worse than Angel. He always has been, but they're the same person. I think the only reason CB didn't get talked about more is because Angel existed. Just bring me robot umps. That won't help either. That's not the way. I think that keeping him around, we just need different people. These umpires are getting worse and worse. They're not, actually. We just noticed them more because of all the cameras and social media and the fact that I'm on Twitch right now talking about it. This is why we're aware of it, because I do stuff like this and other people do stuff like this. So, anyway, great teaching moment. I thought it'd be a good one to touch on because it was really interesting to me, and I wanted to be able to talk about how this stuff works and how you get excited, or how you can get what's happening in the head when you're doing these things. Okay, the question is, love unions, but my God, the umpires need to be held more accountable. Yeah, guys, the unionization isn't a direct. You can find ways to hold umpires accountable even if they're in a union. You know what I mean? But there's certain things that I think you just deal with. I think that a lot of this stuff is solved by just calling it out, right? Because the same thing is they don't want to be embarrassed, and they don't want to have their pride scratched, right? So if you're like, hey man, you're doing this thing and it's embarrassing, they'll stop doing it. That's incentivizing it. That's incentivizing it. There was that. Okay, Mariners have a big offseason, sign guys like Alonso or Walker. I think that Christian Walker signing there is a very good call. I think Christian Walker's got Mariners written all over him. Now I don't know how they need Bop in the corners, and they need at least to cover that one of them. So they have to sign a first baseman. They have to. They won't, but they have to. They need power in the corners. That's so important. So another thing I wanted to talk about. Hey, you look great on ESPN. Thank you. Let me just pull this up. I think this is where we want to be. Okay, I want to turn the audio off on this one. Another thing that's happening. Guys are hitting high homers. Guys cannot stop hitting homers in their eyeballs. And it's interesting because I think it's an example of, I think what we're seeing to an extent is a high heater. Guys, the adjustment to the high heater is improved a lot, and that's why sinkers are so good this year. But I'll show you in a moment. What was this? The 25th was the day with the high homer. So first things first, we're gonna watch the ultimate high homer, and then we will watch the other ones. Where is the game? There it is. Go to the box. Frick, dude. Box. Video. Okay. Awesome. Okay. First things first. This happened the other day, which was sick. Ernie Clement hits a homer. Yeah, you just watch it. This is. Huh? Look where his face is, and look where that ball was hit. Let's watch it again. You're supposed to be able to throw that pitch and be confident that it's not going to be a homer. He looks very confused. Everyone looks so confused. Everyone's confused. I'm confused. How pissed would you be? It'd be one of those ones like, yeah, I'd be pissed. Everybody would be. We'd go watch it back and be like, what the hell was that? And that's one of those pitches, they're probably going to show it again, where when it comes out of your hand, you just hope the catcher can catch it. Like, right? Like, I'm worried that's going to go over his head. So he can hit the high heater, but then we got these.
Extra base hits are
This is Ramon Urias. He went yard. We'll see the replay because we didn't see it the first time around. Look how high that is. That's at his neck. And then also the sixth. That's the sixth hat catch of the year for Perez, which I thought was interesting. So, yeah, it's called blocking the high heater. So, Ramon Urias got to it. But you know who else got to it? The day before that, or I think it was 2 days before that, another Oriole. Was it? I think it was 2 days before that. Yeah, it was 2 days. Another Oriole. Stop changing these things, please. Santander, who is about to be the first 40 homer guy switch hitter in a long time. Where is it? There it is.
2 balls, 1 strike. Bases
Every
loaded, nobody out.
See where this one's hit. Another high heater. 98. That's knowing a heater's coming, you're on time with it. Well, that's called what hitting is. But you shouldn't, even knowing that's coming, that still should be too high, and guys are being able to flat their swing out. Santander, though, has a flat swing. He can get to that, especially left-handed. But that's 3 homers hit at eyes in 4 days, which is crazy. And if I'm pitching, still, I'm throwing. Now I'm working on a sinker. So I thought it was interesting. The high heater has fallen. It hasn't fallen. It never will fall, but it is being adjusted to. And honestly, love to see it. We need a little bit of a different one. Is that one that egregious? Yes. What? Look. That's right here. That is 4 inches, 5 inches above the zone at 98. Wait, what did Zetters just post? Was it in the chat? I didn't see it in the chat. Gross. Also, there was another tweet someone gave me that I want to check out. It's a tunnel. Oh, God, it's x.com, Trev. Someone tweeted me a post. Where is it? What? It was just... Oh, do you see this tunnel? There it is. Here you go. We got a Bryce Miller. We got a Bryce Miller. Let's see this tunnel. There's a sinker or two seam. It's pretty good, boys and girls. Actually, was that a 4-seam? It ran a lot, but it's what we call a perfect tunnel, fam. That's pretty nice. I know we're not doing nasty pitches today, but God bless America. This is a pitching ninja, by the way. Rowdy Tillet's got that. Oh, strike call. Yeah. I gotta go to Ninja. Yeah, this one. Oh, this is his full video. No! By the way, no, well, yes, actually. Make sure you guys follow, go watch Pitching Ninja if you don't already. If you don't sub to him, please go do that. Every time, man. Ha! Ha! Sorry, Patrick. I know, man. I know. Yeah. Hey, Pat. Bro. With which pitcher do you think has the best curveball? Kimbrel probably still has one of the best curveballs. No one calls any. What do you mean that's not a strike? It's right there, man. Painted. Hello? We just saw a guy take one that high, that deep. That high deep. Actually, yeah, the highest one ever is Ernie Clement hitting a pitch like that. I think it's great. Come on, man. The umpire's like, you know what's funny? He's like, come on, man. He's like, eh. And then he's like, but to me? Like, he's like, come on, man. I need help, bro. Don't, just anybody. Anyone else? Could you just call out on somebody else? Yeah, Patrick's pissed. Hey, you guys want a really funny Patrick Wisdom story? I went to the Mariners 18-inning game, right, in the playoffs 2 years ago. We were eliminated, and my buddies wanted to go, and I just got us tickets. I thought it'd be fun. So we went. We were sitting behind home plate, and a guy walks down, and one of my buddies goes, oh. Because look at this guy. Look at this guy in his Bryce Harper cosplay and, long hair, whatever. Or had like kind of the mohawk and the beard. And this does look like Harper. Walking down. I'm like, huh. Turns out it was Patrick Wisdom. I'm like, no, that's not Bryce Harper wannabe. But that is the third baseman for the Cubs. They're like, really? I was like, yeah. And I believe that year he led the league in strikeouts. I'm like, he was the strikeout leader this year. You know, there's no free shout-outs. I've been loving watching Bauer breakdowns. It's awesome to hear him talk about setting up pitches, even if they don't land where he's actually aiming. Oh, 100%. Fonzie, I could go back and I could tell you. I could do that for other people if you really want more, if you really like those. Because that's the part about his stuff that I like too, because I would love to do that. Thinking about your thought process and other guys' thought processes, and how do you use misses with tunnels, and how do you use poorly located pitches, and how do you make decisions off of the result you got, and all that kind of stuff. I would love to go through that stuff. I love that stuff. That's like my favorite stuff. The problem is he's pitching now, so he has lots of examples, and it's hard to do. It's hard to like pick things. You got to think more about it purposefully like that. It doesn't happen as naturally, like the ideas. But I would love to. Pitching sequence breakdowns and nerd shit I love. All right, I'll do more like that. I'll bring down really cool. How about that? Moving forward on this show too, I will have pitch breakdowns, like pitching sequencing breakdowns ready to go, maybe 3 or 4, and then maybe you guys can find some too. So if you guys have a sequence of like a really good, like a long AB, right? A AB, you're like, oh, this guy's fighting really well, or a pitcher goes and dominates a guy, and it was like really crisp. And either way, if you have situations like that, all I need to know is like the exact pitches, like the exact AB. Like, this guy's AB in this inning of this game against this pitcher, and I can find it. So if you want to let me know in Discord, I will be more happy to do that. Even like in the questions for Trevor section. Actually, I'll show you right now. Why not? If we want to do it here, questions for Trevor. So if you guys have ABs you want me to break down and stuff, just throw them in here. Be like, can you talk about the sequencing in this AB? And then, like, if you have a specific, like, how did this do this and this and this? Like, if you have like I think this happened, but I'm trying to verify if it was true or not. Feel free to ask that. I'm down. That'd be really cool. Trevor May versus Trevor Bauer pitch off against JUCO. So I have faced him one time and it was in wiffle ball and I punched him out. My bad. I am gonna get back in shape though, and I am gonna do some of that content going into next season a little bit. I'm letting my son come and I would like to involve. I mean, not live. I don't want to put my son in a bunch of content, but there's going to be dad baseball content coming probably. Just for fun. Me showing him about baseball maybe a little bit, but I really want to avoid having too much content with my son in it. So, you should do baseball breakdowns in general, like the jumbo. Plus, with your experience, you're a fountain of information. Okay, so Victor, very interesting. You should say that as well. I really want to focus on that stuff because it is what makes me. It is what I love. It is genuinely what I love the most about doing this. I would love to do breakdowns, and I just want to hear. I want to make sure I'm doing the things you guys want to see. I would love to do sequencing breakdowns. I would love to do like a scouting report of the week. So raise your hand or type 1 in the chat or type anything in the chat right now if you watched any of the Sunday night StatCast broadcasts or if you saw me do scouting reports for those, because I would like to expand on those and do them for this channel and have them here. If you guys know what I'm talking about, does everyone know what I'm talking about? Have you ever played blitzball? No, but I've been invited. I don't go to New York very often, and I was just there for the night. Canton, Canada? Really? You don't get ESPN2 in Canada? That's freaking crazy. Even the national games? Would that be something you're interested in doing? So we pick a game, like a best matchup. We pitch a matchup that's projected for the coming week, and then we do a scouting report, or we can do a scouting report on a pitcher, like what they do and how they're going to be successful against a team, or We can do a pitcher versus a hitter and then go back and watch their ABs the next week and see how it went. So I want to do that. I want to do the pitch sequencing. But what about like John Boy type breakdowns? Because that's the so I love John Boy breakdowns for a couple reasons. One, big fan of Jimmy. I like Jimmy a lot. And I really don't want to constantly I don't want to copy him and take his thing. If I do stuff like that, I want it to be more me, like my style. But I've always loved those because I noticed all the little stuff too. I would always see things up like how fans were reacting. I would always see like how the dugout was reacting. I would always like check out how the umpire like hesitated or whatever. I would love to do that. You have insight he doesn't have though. So maybe if I add like this is what's going on in his head and this is the dynamic of the game right now, maybe adding that context. Yeah. His thing is really the funny lip reading, in your opinion? Okay. So maybe just like don't do the funny lip reading as much. Okay. Where's my pen? I gotta write this stuff down. Look at this, Chad. It's a little gel pen. Why do I have these in my home? I don't know. Probably Kate's fault. Okay, we want pitch sequence. Breakdowns. Moment breakdowns. What was the other one? Oh yeah, matchup scouting reports. Easy. I got you. Where's your remarkable? I think it's downstairs. I brought it with me to New York. Okay. You could go into depth about certain plays or starts. Okay, I got you. Oh, or have it be a little bit longer. Maybe do a couple different things. Also, a Little Big League review. All right, Little Big League. So I watched Little Big League. That one's tough. Little Big League's going to be hard to do. Though a lot of that was done in the actual Metrodome, which was super cool. Little Big League's going to be hard to do because there's so much stuff that just isn't even remotely close to realistic. But Bull Durham's awesome. Also, write down in your planner a trip to NOI Blitz for Bliss Ball. K Kona. K Kona Kappa Kappa. Who do I think deserves Rookie of the Year? I got Jackson Merrill. I just think it's going to be the center fielders, or it's going to be outfielders, man. Cowser and Merrill. Make those breakdowns while I'm full jersey. Stop it. All right, guys, I have to go to the bathroom bad. So I kind of want to find a video to play while I run to the restroom. But I don't know who to pick. Also, thank you so much, Shay. Brownies Bananas again. Thank you for your 4 months as well. Thank you, guy, for the resubs. Appreciate you. Let's go to home here. See what videos pop up. Maybe there's a baseball one. I gotta go to the bathroom so bad. I'll be right back, guys. Be right back. Everyone say hi to Draft Neck Mark. He's gonna
the best players in baseball. But in today's video, we want to give a shout Out to those underappreciated guys.
Be right back.
You know, your favorite player from your favorite team that might not be an MVP candidate. Might not even be the best player on the roster. Today, I'm going through the most underrated player on every single team in Major League Baseball, in my opinion. Now, of course, you can let me know who you think is the most underrated player on your favorite team down in the comment section below. I love talking baseball with you down there, so let me know what you think. But these are my picks for the most underrated player for every team in the league. So here they are. Let's get to it. Getting it started with the Miami Marlins. Their most underrated player is definitely Jake Burger. Not a lot of great choices with this team, but Jake Burger is definitely the best of the group. Since July 2nd, Jake Burger's been on an absolute tear. 16 home runs, a 317 average with a 385 on base, 698 slugging for an OPS of 1082. That's absolutely disgusting. On the year overall, he has 23 homers, a 250 average with a 304 on base, 475 slugging, 779 OPS. He's a really good hitter. Obviously, in the field, not that great. He's a third base, first base guy, and third base is even a bit of a question mark, but at the plate, there is no doubt that Jake Burger rates. Burger's got crazy high barrel rates, 87th percentile. His bat speed is super high. Hard hit rate is high. He does everything you'd want to have a power hitter. For the most underrated player on the St. Louis Cardinals, I'm going with Alec Burleson. Burleson has had a really good year quietly for the St. Louis Cardinals, a guy that you didn't expect to have a major impact on the team this year necessarily. Last year, he played in 100 games and they were pretty unimpressive. This year, he's hit for some power, hit for a higher average, really just improved overall. Burleson was a second-round pick out of East Carolina back in 2020. Always was a good hitter, and this year, we're starting to see that actually come to fruition. 112 games, 20 homers, 15 doubles, 68 RBIs with the 274 average, 308 on base, 456 slugging, and a 764 OPS. For an OPS plus at 110, he never strikes out, has a 95th percentile best K rate at 13.1%, squares the ball up a ton, makes a lot of good contact, can hit the ball to all fields.
We had Jake Burger on here, I take it. Shout out to Draft Neck Mark, guys. If you don't already subscribe to him, do it. That's Draft Neck Mark. You can't see this. That's Draft Neck Mark on the YouTubes. But yeah, Burleson's crazy, actually, how good of a year he's having, especially with how much he strikes out. It's pretty nuts. It's pretty nutty. Yes, he is very, very good at YouTube. I'm a big fan. Big fan. Quickest dump ever? Well, I peed, so don't be weird. Okay. Back to it. Talk to it. All right, sorry. All right. You guys want to get into a breakdown of our man or our main topic? All right, let's do it. Main topic. Today, I want to tell you about Josh Hader and why he's so good. You guys know that Josh Hader is very good? Do you guys know that? How good, though? Right? How good has he been? And I think this is, now he wasn't was he an all-star this year? I don't think he was. Was he? So this is Joshua Vivian Hader. He's got a career 2.6, which is inflated, frankly. But he's already got 193 saves. But look at this, dude. 735 strikeouts in 400 innings. Ew. Hader wasn't? Well, okay, so he has not blown a save since April. Last 7 games, he's got a 0. Last 15, he's got a 1-7. So this is classic Josh Hader. This is a classic Josh Hader 15-game stretch. He has 2 losses somehow, but he's only given up 4 hits. 4 hits in 15 innings. It's funny, I typed in Baseball Reference, and it still gave me MLB stats. So, outside of, I want to show you how consistent this MFer's been. There is 1 month where he's been trash, and he's been great ever since. Where's the month? Separated by months. So July, right? He's a 4.2 in July and a 3.8 in August. So like this is because of that year a couple years ago when he was traded to San Diego. But outside of these months, look how good he is every other month. June, he's got a 1.3. May, he's got a 1.1. April and March, 2.2. September, October, 2.6. That's crazy, man. And he hasn't blown a save, so he's got 27 straight saves. He's one of the most consistent closing pitchers that ever. Not just like in the current game, ever. And yeah, he throws really hard. Yeah, he's left-handed. Yeah, all of those things are part of it. But here's the reasons. Here's the biggest reason he has this crazy amount of success. And it comes down to the fact that he throws a unicorn fastball. Okay? So average exit velo, this is guy, he throws fastballs up. That's just, you're going to give up hard hits sometimes. He's giving up too high of a barrel hit rate, and his walk rate's higher than normal. So he's walked more guys this year, but that number has been getting lower and lower and lower as the year goes on. And he's always about middle to hard hit and does not give up ground balls. So like these things, just with the style of pitcher he is, if you're a four-seam guy who throws really hard at the top of the zone, I'll forgive you for being average or a little bit or below average on these things. The exit velo maybe needs to be a little bit better, and the walk rate needs to be better. But the barrel, the hard hit, and the ground ball, like especially ground ball, I don't care at all about ground balls. He's not trying to get ground balls, which is weird considering. Let's see if we can zoom in on this. Is it control? Man, there it is. Which is super weird considering that says sinker. Now, chat, did you know that Josh Hader threw a sinker? Type 1 in the chat if you knew. Type 2 if you didn't. And don't lie. I'll know. Got to go get my ball again to show you something. Don't lie. It runs a little bit. The funny thing is, it doesn't run a little bit. And four seams run. So, okay. So, before we talk about that, let me go down here. I'll show you the difference. So, these numbers right here. So, inches of break, guys. See this inches of break? Like neutral is 5 inches. That's neutral. So this is a raw number. So 5 inches of break means it runs. So 5 means it was perfectly straight. Basically, it ended where it started, and the 5 inches is the average on like how like gravity and like how forces affect it. So 5 means to a hitter it looks perfectly straight. So if it's higher than that, it means it runs a little bit. If it's lower, that means it cuts a little bit. Okay. So his run's about 2 inches, which is normal. That's a four-seam run. Like, you get a couple inches of run. Mine was like 6.5 to 8. It was about that too. So, like, that's pretty true. It means that sometimes when you throw arm side, it goes a little more. Sometimes when you go glove side, it goes a little bit less. It averages out to about that. What happened to a four-seam? He never threw one. He's never had a four-seam. This says he threw one once. But that was also a sinker. It just spun weird. He never threw a four-seam, as you can tell by this list of pitches that only has a four-seam 1 in his career. So let me explain this to you, and this was something we discovered. And to be honest, this is a theory, but look at this spin. Look how this thing is spinning, right? Do you guys see how when you throw a four-seam fastball, okay, so let me show you what you're trying to get. When you're trying to get, so Josh Hader has ride. He throws a riding sinker, okay? Wrap your head around that. So he throws a two-seam grip that carries. That doesn't make physical sense. Like, just on its face, you'd be like, how? How do you do that? So when you're trying to get ride, you throw a four-seam because when you get spin with the laces this way, it works like a, think about it this way, like a water wheel that when you catch air spinning this way, you can catch air underneath it, right? So that is what this spin does. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to pull, you're trying to get this to be as efficient as possible. Efficiently means It doesn't wobble like this. It just goes perfectly straight. He throws the exact opposite. So he throws a two-seam that wobbles like crazy. It's wobbling like this. Like, look, if this weren't wobbling, those two seams you see right there, they would be straight split through this axis right here. It would be split perfectly, and it would be spinning like perfectly backspun like that. But it's wobbling. So when it wobbles, it's going to be really hard to see. It's going like this. Which, first of all, I don't even know. Like, I'm trying to think. He's got to be offset a little bit, right? And get it. Yeah, so that's how you're doing it. So it's like, it has like a supinated spin. So it's spinning like a cutter with a two-seam grip. I know, just stay with me here. This is really, really hard to like envision. But what I want you to do is think about it this way. You have the horseshoe on this side that's wobbling. Like, basically it's going whoop, whoop. Like the horseshoe on the side of the ball is pointing that way, that way, that way, that way, that way, that way, that way. On both sides. So he has a horseshoe on both sides of the ball that is wobbling, creating these big circles on the sides of the ball. So what he has found is the perfect spin wobble so that the pockets of air on both sides of the ball are pushing on the ball at almost the same pressure, which is keeping it straight. Which makes, guys, I don't think I'm accurately explaining how crazy that is. Like, to get it there. Because if you're off a little bit, it's going to take off one way or the other. So there's something uniquely about how he releases the ball that allows him to do this, and no one else has been able to do it. Like, nobody. No one. So he's basically, it's such a bad sinker that it's a great four seam. And that is the concept of seam shifted wake. Yes, that is what seam shifted wake is. When I threw my changeup, I started to throw it like this, and then I would like kind of offset it so it would spin like this, right? And spin that way. But on the back side of the ball was this big horseshoe that would wobble a little bit. So when the horseshoe wobbles and this spot was a little bit bigger than this spot on this side, the air pocket would be heavier here and it would make it fade that way. So like, based on the spin, it's supposed to cut. But because of the air on this side pushing the ball, it actually goes the opposite. So a hitter sees a pitch that's supposed to go that way, and it ends up going that way, almost the exact same amount. So the same thing here. He's throwing it. It's wobbling a ton. Everyone assumes it's going to run, and it just stays. And it's 98. You need some video to show us. So let's see if we can get. It's hard to get Josh Hader slow-mo video. I looked. Hold on, let me zoom out. Let's get some pitches here. Let's just go random video. I don't know if you guys can do this, by the way, on Savant, but it's kind of nice. If it'll pop up, that is. There we go. So let's look at some Ks, because a lot of them are fastballs. These are 75% fastball.
3.
So that's a two-seam. He's gripping that thing with a two-seam. Right? Like what? Let's try it again. Two-seam grip. What are hitters supposed to do to keep up with pitching? The exact same thing they've been doing, just like they always have. Defer to science and learn about what pitchers are doing as fast as they are. I think that the adjusting to a pitcher's adjustments faster. So pitchers are adjusting faster than hitters to the strategies. That's what's happening. They just need to catch up there. Are his fingers touching? Let's see. No, they're not. But he is inside. So, like, it's really close, right? He's, like, really close. But he's got big hands. By the way, Josh Hader he's got really big hands. So, also, let's break this down, too. See what his arm slot is? Okay, first of all, he's way across his body. Not way, but he's about 8 inches across his body, right? So, he's across his body. So, he already stepped from here to here. So, he's already stepped away from the right-handed hitter. So, that is one thing that is deceptive first. Then he goes way out here, kind of like Sale, right? He's way out, kind of low. He's below 45 degrees. But then, Instead of his hand being like this, like a sidearmer would, it's like this. Right? So he's low, which only makes guys think it's going to run even more. Think Ryan Walker. Ryan Walker throws the sinker. His runs back a lot. Hader's the left-handed version, and they think his fastball is going to move that way. It doesn't. So then he gets behind the ball somehow, and then he's outside of it, so it's supinated a little bit, and then it seam shifts. So it's like all these different, like, basically a hitter's like, oh, this does this, and this usually does this. And every point, from his delivery to his release to the ball flight to where it ends up, is all different than what everyone else does. And that's why he's so effective. And it's like Mariano Rivera's cutter, right? Nobody, even Kenley Jensen, he's the closest, but nobody can make the ball move like him, because it was just, he had a natural talent for throwing that cutter. He threw a cutter that was like, it was like 10 inches of so it's like, if 5 is if 5 is neutral, it went to like 0 to -5. So he was getting 5 to 10 inches of cut, no matter what, and like 15 plus of ride. So he was getting this. And nobody's been able to do that since. They still haven't. Nobody's done it even close. Halladay could. Not even Halladay. Halladay couldn't either. Halladay did not have his cutter. He threw the same grip, but Halladay's cutter did not ride. It was really good. It was like Kenley's. Kenley's is really good. But Mo's, like, they all have like 12 inches of carry at the most. Mo's was 15 plus carry every time. And I think it has to do with how big so Mo's hands were like, he could touch his fingers around the ball almost, which is crazy. He had banana fingers, and he would throw underneath the ball like this, which then kept it up a little bit longer, and no one else was lower. Kenley's is too high to do that. So he gets like the depth, but in terms of the consistency of their cut, it's very similar. They have the close to the same horizontal, but he had the most vertical by far, and it has for a long time. Mo wasn't originally intended to cut it. No, he just threw his super supinated four-seam fastball without really trying. And then he just adjusted it. Yes, he had bananas for fingers. That's a real thing. I think pitchers just have natural relaxed hand-arm placement that makes some pitches for them nasty as hell. True. I also have a theory. Here's another theory that, is this backed up by science at all? No. But is it something just asking questions? Okay, so do you guys see my index finger and my middle finger are pretty close to the same height. Just like length, right? Like I probably have like maybe half a centimeter longer than the middle finger, which allows me to create more of a consistent, like the ball stays with, like I can keep both my fingers in the ball longer, right? A lot of guys have a finger that's like a whole centimeter or longer, so the middle finger's way longer. Mariano Rivera's one of those. So what would happen was, so when I would release the four seam, I'd be here, right? So this would be the last finger on, but like it'd be right towards the end. Then there's guys that are like this, where this finger's the last one on for an extra 5 milliseconds, which allows them to cut the ball more. So guys with longer middle fingers tend to cut the ball, tend to be able to throw sliders better, like naturally. Tyler Duffy, huge hands, much longer middle finger than index. And what I've realized is most people are one or the other. Most people are one or the other. It's pretty interesting. Now, would this take a long study? Yeah, to be honest, it would be really cool to go and do a minor league or go into big league spring trainings and then test everyone's finger length and just be like, which one are you? Which one are you? And then that's it. That's all we do. And then we just see, and then we go look at everyone's movement and see if there's any correlation. Mic is clipping. Yeah, this mic's really, really touchy. I might swap my mic out, I think, on this computer. I think I'm going to use this as my ambient mic from now on. Pitching staff isn't measuring finger length. No, this hasn't happened yet. It will eventually. But yeah, this is how this stuff happens. People like me bring it up, and then they look into it. Like how to hand, because that's one of those natural things. Like your hand size is your hand size. There's nothing you can do about it. Fonzie, that's my theory. Yes, you nailed it. That's exactly what I think. Sign pitchers with long middle fingers, or No, they can both be good. It's just like when you're thinking about learning a new pitch or maybe what's naturally easier for you to pick up, you might make better decisions. Like guys with longer middle fingers also struggled because their ring finger, it'd be way longer than their ring finger as well. So changeups were hard. So sometimes they throw way more breaking balls and struggled to throw a good changeup because the way their fingers, like where their fingers sat on the laces, was really hard for them to do. Pedro has super flexible fingers. He also had banana hands, and he also has, he doesn't have crazy discrepancies. All of his fingers were kind of close to the same length. So I thought that was interesting. But anyway, Josh Hader. Josh Hader throws a unicorn. Okay, so that was the first thing on him. And then the second thing he did this year, which I was going to look, which I was looking for the article where he talked about this, but Saris told me. Josh Hader also, not sorry, Mike Petriello. Sorry, you've told me a lot of stuff. It's hard to tell. You guys are so smart, all of you. Mike Petriello was telling me about how Josh Hader tried to make his slider smaller and throw it harder so it looked like his fastball more. Or he wanted a tighter slider. So he added, you can see it actually here. I'll show you. It'll show you the spin this year. It's funky. It's a weird spin. So you look at this. This is not a bullet spin. This is a little bit of a cement mixer. Okay, where is it? There we go. It's a little bit of a cement mixer. So if you see, he's got the seam shift kind of on the back, right? Which is weird. It adds more depth. But he's throwing it harder. He's throwing it about 3 miles an hour harder than his other one. The reason he wants to do that is because it's his wrinkle pitch. The other one was easily identified and also adjusted to better. So basically, guys saw the hump earlier. They were able to like foul it off more. I was having the same problem 22. And then I tried to make my slider harder and smaller so that it looked like my fastball longer and made my fastball better. He throws 72% fastballs. Like, he's not trying to strike people out with the slider. The slider's just another pitch that he wants people to have to think about. And if it's harder and it tunnels better, then it's a better version of that. But it definitely is a wrinkle. But he really just wants to get you with his fastball. So that's why he did that. Now, in an era where most people like, oh, I want a sweeper, I want something big and that breaks really, really well in a vacuum. Maybe you don't want that. So if we go look at his movement, like his slider, it's below average on all metrics, especially a horizontal break. It goes 85% less horizontal. This doesn't break at all. This is tiny, but it does drop a little bit. Less than average, but it drops. More depth. It's more depth. So he changed this last year. See, you can see 84 on average, 83. Now it's 85.7. He changed it at the end of last year, and now he's throwing it all year this year. It's just a wrinkle pitch. And then he'll mix in a changeup every once in a while just to be cheeky. But look at this drops. 10.5. That's one of the best rides in the league. And he throws a sinker. It says it's negative 50% because it says it's a sinker. But if this was classified as a four seam, he would be top 2% in the league. He's going mini death ball. Yeah, it's a death ball. But he's not going for nastiness. He's going for relation to his sinker. And that has made him well. So like if you think about it this way, we're always like, oh, you want guys with all the red numbers on here. Do you see much red for Josh Hader? Do you guys see any red? Now, if this were classified as a four seam, if he compared this to other four seams, he would have one of the best ones. This would be bright red, but the other two wouldn't. But he's one of the best relievers, if not the best closer in the major leagues right now, with no pitches that are elite compared to other pitches. Almost, he's looking for the changeup effect. It's that same article, The Art of Pitch Tunneling, that I've mentioned in many videos. So he tightened his slider up, and he throws a unicorn of a fastball. And that's why I think that there's no end in sight for how effective Josh Hader is going to be moving forward. But like we discovered this last year in the bullpen, just looking into him, and I just never talked about it yet. But being able to see him live on TV, I thought would be a good opportunity to do it. Also, I don't know if you guys saw this. Jordan Montgomery comes out on Scott Boras. Said he kind of butchered his free agency negotiations. I think that Montgomery had an idea and was given some information about the type of market that would happen. They got blindsided with how it didn't happen, and he trusted somebody a little bit too much, and he got burned, and he's frustrated by that. And I understand all of those things. You know, you do have to take it upon yourself. If you want to have more of a say or more of an idea of this stuff, you have to be super educated yourself. You have to make effort to do that. I don't know, because remember, Jordan kind of disappeared from the face of the earth. Like, no one heard from him. I don't know. It doesn't seem like he was super active. He just kind of let Boras handle it, which you do need to do that. Like, in terms of the communications, yes, but you need to be talking to your agent constantly. But it does sound like Boras was a little bit too stubborn about it, and he got shown big time. Boras did. That he needs to adjust the way he's thinking. The way the playoffs have changed, they're going to change the market really, really fast, and it has. But for him to say he butchered it, I agree with him. And I'll be honest, kind of take some balls, Monty, to go after him like that. So he said this, right? Which is interesting. But then another guy who arguably got a lower contract than we all thought he was going to get. It's sad that he thinks that way. Blake Snell says, it's not all Scott's fault, right? So they're both there. Snell said he was bothered by recent comments from Montgomery to the Boston Herald, in which Arizona left-hander charged with Boras kind of butchered his free agent negotiations. When Montgomery fired Boras, moved to representative to Washington, Snell felt no doubt who would be conducting his free agency this offseason as widely anticipated, he opts out of contract with San Francisco Giants, which he will. My experience with Scott has been great. Yeah, I mean, I've heard working with Scott, like, he isn't big league you can get a hold of him. You know, the Scott Boras, to very clear guys, in 2012, I was courted by Boras and CAA and Wasserman and Relativity, which was who I ended up going with Steve Veltman, who Steve then started his own later, and Steve is currently still, I think, my agent. No, he is. He's a very good friend of mine. And they were good at communicating, whatever. It's just like, it was a big apparatus. There's so many players with them that, like, I just was like, I want to have more of an active role in the conversations and like an active role in stuff outside of just my contract. And Boras is more of that situation. That's just the way they operated a little bit more. So it was more of a business-like thing. I was looking for a buddy because the agent I had before that never, ever talked to me because he was that was a whole other thing. I had to fire him too, which also no hard feelings, but like it sucked at the time. And so it wasn't a good fit, but I've heard nothing but good things about how they operate. Like, it's not like there's preferential treatment or anything. It's just a big organization. And sometimes you feel like you're low on the totem pole, which I think Montgomery felt like he should have been higher on the totem pole, maybe. I think Snell doesn't blame Boras because Snell rejected that offer from the Yankees, not Boras. Memory serves right. Yeah, and bummer. That probably comes from the fact that Snell took more of an active role on being locked in. And for what I know about Jordan, I don't know Jordan, guys. I just know this anecdotally that he's a little bit more hands off. Like, he's a little bit more like, hey, you know what? You guys understand a little better. I trust you to take care of it. And he put his full trust, and he feels like that trust was misplaced. Maybe. I think that's where it comes down to. So, anyway. So, I thought this was interesting, and we're about to, we're entering the last year, the last month of the season, part of what the last month of the season is going to come, projecting where free agents go, whatever. Where Pete Alonso is going to go, it's going to be really interesting, right? Because he's got Boras as well. But for a guy to come out and be like, Boras butchered it, and then another guy come out and be like, it wasn't quite Boras' fault, is really interesting to me. And I think tracks with I think we're seeing one guy who's a little bit more engaged than the other one in the process. And this is the differences in sentiment. And I just thought that would be interesting for you guys to check out because, he's complaining, but no, he was just asked, like, what do you think happened? He's like, I just think my contract got butchered a little. Like, he's like, if I was going to sign that, I at least could have gotten spring training. He's just frustrated how his season's gone because he knows, like, it was one of those things where he just stumbled out of the gate and he's just been stumbling ever since. And it's hard to get your feet under you. that's frustrating. And the negotiations have a big problem with that. Part of that. Like, he held out for no reason. And then now he's having a bad year, and he's also frustrated. Like, those things matter, and you can't just say, if you don't like it, pitch better. I'm just tired of hearing that. There's just more that goes on to it. It's just too easy to say. It's lazy. Is Boras their agents? Yes, Danny. What you need to know, Scott Boras is a big conversation of contention, he will be big time this offseason. Oh, my God. We will talk so much about Scott Boras this offseason. What did Jordan get? 1 year, 125. He's like on a slightly better than qualifying offer. I'm super pro Boras because I like guys who actually fight for the players and their net worth. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm pro the idea of Scott Boras. I didn't mean that. I just mean, like, why didn't he have the discussion in the beginning of the year? He did. He was just asked this question again recently. Like, talking about his demotion to the bullpen, all that kind of stuff, it came up again, and he just said that, like, kind of, he's like, yeah, I mean, he goes, I didn't start the season off, and we kind of had a little bit of a butchered negotiation, and that didn't help, and it's just another thing I'm working through, kind of. That's kind of what he said, and of course, the Boras comment just made the headline because it was the New York Times, so drama sells. But it was literally a kind of a throwaway comment, because it always is. So Jordan is very good, but as much I said this before, I'm like, I don't know why he wants a super long-term contract. If I'm him, I'm pumped about $15 million a year, because frankly, Jordan Montgomery has really middle of the road stuff. He strikes out 6.5 per 9. He's never been dominant. He's just always been a good solid 3-4, 3-4-5 for good teams. And you should go and get your 5-year. You should get your 5-year. You know, your 5-year 75 if you can. Think Monty hates it in Arizona? I don't think so. By all accounts, that place is a great place to be. Everyone loves Arizona. It's a good clubhouse, too. Is a vesting option? Yeah. Yeah, like a Joe Musgrove contract. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, that's a great comp. So maybe the expectation was just too high. He got excited. Trust me, been there, done that. I understand. Actually, no, I haven't been there. I've never had any high expectations. Not really. I maybe thought I might get a 3-year deal. Yeah, he's solid. And it's funny, even in the playoffs, he wasn't dominant, but he was good. He did a really good job. But, like, we can talk, like, Strasburg, though, in the 19. I understand that contract exploded and did not work out at all for them. But at the time, really smart. What has to happen to the Mariners to change their batter's eye? I have no idea. I do not know. They could probably do it pretty easily, frankly, because back there is like where the grounds crew stuff is. So they could just like extend the wall over like above the area and just connect it to that bar a little bit and just close that off, and it wouldn't change anything. I just don't think they are convinced that has anything to do with it. 7 for 75 is pretty good. Yes. 5 for 75 is pretty good. But what happens is you're told you're 5 for 105. Should Luis Heel be moved to the bullpen? For who? Who would start instead of Heel? What's your prediction for the NL West division leaders? In terms of team, players, what do you mean? Like who's gonna win the division? Dodgers. What do you think the Dodgers? What do you think of the Dodgers? Do you think it'll be them and the Phillies in the playoffs in the NLCS? It's gonna come down to start pitching, man, and the Dodgers are struggling in that. They're very inconsistent in the pitching category. The Phillies are better. I'll take Wheeler Nola any time of the day. Yankees are in first. Are we really worried about the Yankees? Heel might have arm fatigue. Yeah, maybe they move him out there for Schmidt. Probably because he's going to have to get limited innings anyways, right? Ugliest teammate you ever played with? Guess, D. You think Shohei will pitch again? Yeah. This year? Not this year. Why would you not think Shohei's going to pitch again? He threw a bullpen the other day. Didn't he throw off the mound the first time like 3 days ago? Thoughts on Brewers pitching? Brewers pitching has been good, man. They've been good. They've been good. Their bullpen's good. It's gonna be interesting. Like, dude, the Brewers in the playoffs starting pitching. I'm like, who's gonna be the three guys, right? Who's gonna be the 3 guys? Phillies. We know about Nola and Wheeler. Rock solid. I'll take them against anybody. Yankees. I mean, is Cole gonna start game 1 now? Rodon, maybe? Mariners best rotation league right now? Yes, by all metrics even, too. They are. They still are the best, even with the clunkers recently. They are the best. Thoughts on Yankees bullpen, what needs to change? Trying to think who they're going with what? They're going with, is Weaver still throwing a lot in leverage? Is it like Canely, Weaver, and Clay Holmes? I know Weaver had a clunker a week or so ago, but I don't know how he's thrown since. Jake Cousins too. I've seen Cousins throwing. I have not looked into his. Let me look at Cousins' stuff. Let's check out Jake Cousins' stuff. Got a 1.8. Oh, pretty good. He's absolutely come out of nowhere since mid-August. Let's talk about Jake Cousins a little bit then. Throwing 95. Sinker slider guy. Really low ground ball rate and barrel rate and walk rate for a sinker guy. This isn't good. I mean, he's young, right? He's a rookie? No, he's not a rookie. He's 30. Yeah, we'll see how this continues to go. He has very little experience in leverage. He's got a good sinker. Really good slider. Even though, how's the slider moving? That's a really good slider. Holy shit. Hey, there's a sweeper. This is a sweeper, by all intents and purposes. If this is like 14 or more, it's a sweeper. But it's got tons of depth. So this is a really hard curveball. But yeah, just stick with the sinker slider. There's no reason he can't continue to be successful. And he's got that sidearm thing going too. So yeah, it's quality, man. That's a good end back on the bullpen. Weaver, Leiter Jr. Leiter Jr. is kind of like the 6th inning guy. Where was this Walker? I don't know. Ryan Walker? Okay. Fine. Ryan Walker. Is Walker closing now? Come on. He's got a 2. That's pretty good. Oh, my God. He's got 68 innings already, though. Why has he pitched in 65 games? It's not September yet. He's getting abused. Yeah, he's pretty good. Both pitches really good. Yeah, I'd say he's probably the most projectable person ever. Probably. One of the better sinking fastballs and one of the best breaking sliders in the league. Honestly, this might be top 1%, bro. This might be the best slider in the league. East to west, man. But yeah, he's getting absolutely pummeled into the ground right now. I honestly don't know how his chase rate's not higher. And I thought he had long extension. The reason he doesn't actually have long extension because he steps so far across his body. But like, chat, this is probably reliever. This is reliever of the year territory. Like, he's probably going to be, if he finishes this way, he'll be reliever of the year for the NL. Ooh, I would say, KFC, I'm with you. I think the Padres might be the scariest team going to the playoffs. But I don't think Darvish ain't coming back, so I would just say it's those top three. Pirates are going to give O'Neal Cruz some center field time. I saw that. Griffin Jax is up there, too. I think he's better than Jax, though, man. We're having a better year than Jax. They're close. Nope, they're really close. Never mind. It's almost the same year. I take all of that back. This is actually a little bit better. Dude, he's averaging 89 on a sweeper. Are you shitting me right now? What the? Yeah, see, guys, this is like Cousins' slider, but at 88. But 89, pretty good. Clase's up there too. Yeah, well, he's a closer. Yu Darvish is suddenly 38 years old. Yeah, he's been around for a while. Yu Darvish just came off the restricted list. Oh, okay. Thoughts on Bowden Francis Almsot, almost no hitter, and basis note. I don't know what any of that is. I didn't see Bowden Francis' almost no hitter. No, I didn't see it. Wait. He did go to Wazoo. Where's he from? Dude, where's Ryan Walker from? He went to Wazoo. Tough, dude. Tough, bro. Hold on. Ryan Walker bio. Arlington, Washington? That's the middle of nowhere, fam. Attended Arlington High School. No way. Arlington, little place. Very small. I mean, Arlington's not really the Seattle area. Everybody's from the Seattle area. Like, that's Arlington. Right? Seattle's like 30 miles away. This is Seattle. That's Arlington. But yeah, he's more like closer to Everett. He's past Everett, actually. Way past Everett. Everett's right here. So yeah, Arlington's deep. Arlington's up there. But it's a small like farming community. Interesting. What would you say are the must-have pitches for a pitcher? A fastball. Everything else is optional. You only need a fastball. Went to Bremerton. With the exception of a couple miscues, the Rays pitching almost down to the Dodgers offense all weekend. Shut down. Yeah, I mean, the Rays have really good pitching. They always have. Okay, let's see if we have anything else. Ooh, I got one. Hey, you guys want to have a little bit of a teaching moment? I want to do one more teaching moment. Here's a little teaching moment for those pitchers out there that want a little bit of a tip. This is a tip on how to not tip. So when you come set, or when you're about to get wherever you are with wherever you hold the ball while you're getting signs, grip a pitch you don't throw. So for me, especially towards the end of my career, I got rid of the splitter. Also, the splitter's kind of hard to grip. So, like, if you throw a splitter, you also want to grip this. So, okay. If you throw a splitter, grip your splitter first because it's the hardest to grip. Like, when you come set, you got to, like, dig in, and you don't want to do that. So, you want to start dug in so that you can, like, mess around and act like you're changing grips when you're not. But I didn't throw a splitter anymore, and I started splitters so that every single time I got a pitch to throw, I had to move the ball. So basically, create a situation where you have to change your grip every single time so that they can't key up on you changing and not changing sometimes and changing other times. Like, that's what you want. I know it seems obvious. A lot of guys don't think of it that way. There's a lot of things you can do with, like, moving your glove around. We see George Kirby does this. Ryan Dempster did this as he got his grips to kind of give it away. Those are all strategies for trying to guard against tipping. But a good way to do it is to just grip a pitch. Like, start with a changeup every time, then come up and get your slider grip or whatever if you throw sliders every time. You can start with a knuckle grip. That's another one. Dean Kramer grips the split every time too. Yes, because he throws a splitter. You throw a splitter, grip a splitter. Because if you got to dig into your glove to get your pitch, they're going to see that. That's one of the easiest things to see, and you have to dig in for a splitter to get it deep. Arm slot is what wins for him, or what? Arm slot combined with his extension is low release. Yes. So, buddy, what he does is he creates a really straight angle to the plate in terms of height. So where he releases and where it ends is very similar. So, like, there's very little upward or downward movement, which is really hard to track for a hitter. Did you see Ernie Clement's home run off pitch at eye level? Welcome to the stream, Kev. Yes, we already broke it down and went over it earlier in the show. But yes, that was incredible. Randy Johnson famously got revealed he was tipping by Eduardo Perez. Didn't matter because he was really Randy freaking Johnson. Chris Sale had a tip for a while that Torrey Hunter had. But it was less about a tip and it was more about how when he's in the windup, he would go at different speeds based on the pitch he threw. So he would, like, when he threw a changeup, he'd go super fast and turn. And when he threw a fastball, he'd be way smoother. So, like, when he threw a changeup, he'd be like he would, like, speed up and then and then throw soft, and then fastball he'd be smooth and it'd be more consistent through. And the slider, same thing, he'd be fast every time. So, like, we got to the point where Torrey'd be like, when he moves his feet quickly, he's throwing an off-speed pitch. When he moves the same speed the whole time, it's a fastball. And he didn't even realize that, and we braked him that year. Now he doesn't do that anymore, but for a while we had him, and we absolutely, in 2015, go look at the Twins against Chris Sale. He also doesn't shake. What? How can you be that good and not shake? Is this like guys that stop pitching out of the windup? That's one reason. Also, sometimes they just stop pitching out of the windup because it was just a waste of energy. But yeah, it was to simplify a lot of times. And then, Yu Darvish tipping in the World Series, yeah. Also, that was. I don't know if you remember what else happened that year, but there were other reasons also. Trevor, did you ever throw from 59 feet versus the 60.6? No. So actually, when I came up, when I was playing Little League, we did 46 and 60. So 46 foot mound, 60 foot bases, which is the current Little League format. Up until you're 12, and then when you're 13, you just go to the big field, and I was 90-60. Did you watch the Maddox doc? I haven't yet, no. And I also I haven't talked about how he communicated with his catcher, which is really interesting to me because I love that stuff, man. I love that stuff. I'm gonna go check it out actually, and maybe we can do a little breakdown of it next week. I have a lot of stuff I want to break down next week. I want to try. I'm trying to structure this more so this is like a show with like segments and animations. My brother has started to, he has some experience in animation, building like a lower thirds and stuff, and he's working on building me a package, which I'm super excited to do something with him. I don't know if you guys knew I even had a brother, but I have a brother 6 years older than me, and he's basically the artist of our family. And I've always kind of like envied that. I've always wanted to do stuff like him, so I'm excited to work on something together, but it's very like 90s retro. I don't know. I really like it. I think it's going to be fun. Next week, Tuesday, or back to Monday? We are back to Monday forever, Danny. For the indefinite future, it's Monday every week from here on out. We'll be back. All right, I didn't even check. Do we have how many nasty pitches? I know we do nasty pitches every other week, but if we have a lot, we can do them. If not, then we will hold out till next week. Yeah, we don't have that many. But if you guys want to go in and put in your nasty pitches for next week, guys, we are building them. Make sure you put your nasty pitches here in the nastiest pitches in the Discord. This Discord channel is going to be where I am more and more and more. I know I say that every week, but now I'm not going anywhere. Right now, I'm really focusing on this type of stuff, this type of content. I'm working really hard, trying to propose possibly doing a watch party for the free game of the week, maybe some playoff stuff, but I have a child coming. We are in the last 4 weeks here, so he could come at any minute. So I'm just kind of playing it by ear. But the things that are going to be consistent that I've made very clear that I would like to be consistent are this show and Rates and Barrels and the radio. Like those three things I've committed to, those three things that I'm going to be really consistent with, everything else. And then my podcast, obviously. So like just the pods and this show and the pods and this show and the content, that'll all be done. But like those are kind of the things. Adding to that is just going to be whenever I have time because we don't know how this is going to go. Kate and Baby are well. Yes, they're doing very well. What about a segment about hitting bombs? We could bring it. Should I start getting some people in here? I have some ideas for interviewing players as well. Her bump's so big. Yeah, he's a big boy. He's a big boy. Also, additional schedule for this week. I'm doing radio on Thursday with Mike Farron in the morning, so 7 a.m. I'm doing Foul Territory on Friday, and then I'm doing the radio again on Sunday. But then going forward, it's going to be so I'm going to be on a bunch of stuff. You know, that's just a kind of, hospital bills, you know what I mean? But I love working with Farron. It's going to be a lot of fun. But that's where I'll be this week. No more Sunday night baseball. And then this show and my podcast I'm going to try to make my podcast a weekly thing where I check in. But I have some kind of like baseball today. I would like to bring in some players and just do some like conversation and tell some stories with them. Make it kind of like that. So, but that's it. That's what I'm working on. By the way, you guys we have a teams forum here. I don't know if you guys knew this, but every single team has its own forum. So if you want to go rep your team, feel free to do that. Kansas City Royals is dominating right now, just so you know. Next showing of the Maddox Duck is Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern and Monday. Just FYI. Is it available on the internet? It's got to be, right? Did you go look up like the TV guide SLG? That's funny. That's crazy. Sorry, this is very off topic, but do you think the Guardians players are hitting the panic button? Fans have hit the panic button for about 2 weeks. I mean, I get why every league leader is hitting the panic button. But yeah, probably have. They're not panicking, but they're probably feeling the pressure. Teams don't really panic. If a team just falls off a cliff, that's mostly because they're panicking. But if they're not, if they're just kind of scuffling a little bit, just know that we're in the dog days. August becomes this. Like it's tough, man. I did, but I don't think it's streaming anywhere. Okay. All right. I'll look it up. I'll see. I could probably go into the app and watch the reruns. I have one of those apps that is not limited. Also, let's see if I can. Let's see if I can do this. Hold on. I made a poster for that mockumentary I was telling you guys that we're making for the Wiffle Ball League. I'm gonna see if I can get it on. Get it on the computer real quick. How do I do this? Probably email it to myself. It's probably the best way because I got Apple to PC. You guys know how it be. Oh my god. Yeah, maybe. Go back here. Over here. Okay, cool. We're almost there. We'll go to share. We're gonna share it to. Where's my email? Hello? How do I email this? Okay, back to this. No, what? Trevor. Boom. Up. Let's link this photo. Oh my God. There we go. We got it. All right. 1 second. We're almost there. We're almost there. Sorry, I meant to prepare this and I forgot. So, but we're here. Close this tab. Pull this up. Why is this in Paint? What is going on? Yeah, this is going. Downloads. Bro, are you kidding? Open in. Photos. There we go. Cool. Jesus Christ. All right, we're back. You guys ready to watch a documentary about a wiffle ball league? American Wiffle, coming October 2024. Mistakes were made. This is actually not the tagline. It's dingers or nothing. But hey, I hope you guys like it. Pretty cool, huh? Looks like a horror movie. Like we're all gonna like a entire wiffle ball team's gonna be murdered by a guy in a mask. Hi, Trevor. Huge fan of the videos. What would you say to Lewis Heel needs to become a Cy Young contender? More innings. He's got the stuff. It's just about consistency. More innings. He's gotta be able to throw more innings. He can't throw more innings yet. August is the trench work of baseball. Yeah, they be out in the trenches. It's the slog. It is awful. Are you a Twins fan? Of course. Hope there's a Coyote ugly soon. Do you see the Bat Boy Bros? No, I haven't. I'll check that out, DL. I'll check it out after this. I like their stuff. But yeah, this is just the poster I made. But this week, by the way, I almost tore my calf last week, so I don't think I'm going to be able to play in the playoffs. Like, I've been limping around for about four or 5 days now. But I am going on Wednesday, tomorrow, and I'm going to be taking some line footage of the last game of the season, and then we'll be doing some interviews, and we'll be editing this video for the next month or two, and we'll show it. Opinion on Scott Boras. Rewind about an hour, Rip, of the show. We got really into Scott Boras. We talked a lot about it. Okay. The last little section that I want to talk about, and then we can open it up, is my favorite storylines to follow, the things that I'm following and I'm really excited to follow for this coming up for this September. My top 3 things. Number 1, the race for the AL East. Really interesting. Orioles, Yankees. I think it's going to be really important to see who wins that one because, frankly, I think the Orioles need to win the division to have a better chance in the playoffs because of the way the pitching's set up now. I think the Yankees have a better chance of winning a wild card series. So, in terms of where their success can be, it's probably better for the Orioles if they win the division, but it's not the end of the world. They'll be better positioned personnel-wise. So it's going to be really interesting to see how those two teams battle. And I can't wait to continue to watch it. I don't know if they match up much more, but I want to watch it. Additionally, my second thing, Aaron Judge is going for his own record again. Cannot wait. Cannot wait to see how that plays out. It's going to be awesome. And then, my last race is the AL Central. Can the Royals sneak in there? Really interesting. Really interesting. The AL Central did not think that was going to be really fun to watch, but I can't wait to see how that plays out. And then, honestly, the NL West. There's a lot of races that are really fun. NL West and the AL Central, are the two with the 3-team races, which is super interesting. But those are my big storylines for the rest of the year. I can't wait to see how those pan out. Thoughts on the Braves? They've it's really impressive how they continue to have success even after all the hits they've taken this year. Come pitch for Boston. Hey, no. Rich Hill's one of a kind, man. He's one guy. All right. I am not Rich Hill. Orioles win the tiebreaker if they win one game there. Okay. All right. Interesting. Things are getting interesting. Interessante. Did I mention Scott getting fired? I have not talked about Scott Service getting fired. I'll be honest, he was a little bit of a puppet already. And he's taken the fall for the guy who's the puppeteer. But it is my honest opinion that Jerry Dipoto should not be as untouchable as he is. Hi, Toast. Hey, baby. You guys want to meet Toasty? Come here, baby. All right, in a second. She's scratching. She's scratching. I think Dipoto should be probably on the hot seat more than he is. But I think he sold the dream. Chat, you're supposed to tell me when I have coffee mouth, man. I think he sold the dream to the ownership that I can cut costs, I can keep costs low, I can sneak us into the playoffs, and I can get butts in the seats. And for the most part, that's been true, except for the playoffs. It's only happened once. Jose Miranda, great hitter. Where's Marmalade at? He's downstairs. One sec. This is Toast. He really hates being held. Come on, Toast. Say hi to the chat. Come on, Toast. Come on, Toasty. She's being standoffish. She's mad at me. She's mad at me for picking her up. She really doesn't like this. You can hear her. Ah. You're fine. Fine. Okay, Toasty's favorite breaking ball. Hey, that's my backpack. It's a curveball. Yeah, we got kitties. Her and Marmalade sleeping beside each other, so adorable. They're literally the two cutest cats on the planet. And I'm very happy that they are a part of our lives. And I cannot wait for them to cuddle with Baby. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm just kind of a softie. And then we're going to get a dog, I think. When our kids, oh, whoa, I leaked it. When our kids/kids get old enough, then we'll be like, let's get a puppy, and then let's teach the kids how to raise a puppy. Like, you know what I mean? Like let's do this together as a family where they can help out. Like when they're like 2 or 3 or 4, whatever, they can feed them and play with them in the backyard, like this little stuff. I got a question, Mr. Pitcher Man. And that's a good question. Where did I put the ball? I love that my 500 strikeout ball is just on the ground. Kick change. So, guys, this is a straight change, right? Straight change, where you have all of your fingers flush against the ball. You're flat. You want them to roll over. You're trying to slow the ball off with friction, touching all your fingers. Now, some guys really struggle with that, right? When they throw this, it's too hard, right? Guy throws 94. He can't throw anything. He can't throw anything slower than a 90-mile-an-hour changeup. At that point, it's not a good enough changeup, especially if it's a straight change. Then we've tried stream shifting. Now, this is new. A lot of people don't do this. I think this is a good option for most guys. But again, it's flat. Now, kick change. There's some guys who've been doing it with this seam or this seam, and what they're doing is they're spiking. They're bringing one of their fingers off the ball. And it's the middle finger because it's the strongest. And what they're doing is when they are when they are releasing it, they are extending that bent finger. Hold on. This is really hard to do. Hold on. So some guys are doing that, right? They can do this or they can do this. They're just like, yeah, they're bringing their finger up. And when they throw it, they're extending that finger out and they're kicking it. So it's kicking that finger out. So like Cease does an example, does an extreme example of this. He throws it like almost like a spinning knuckleball. Like it's just getting a spin, but he's slowing the spin down by kicking his finger out. And it's really slow. So what this does is it slows down the spin a lot and it slows down the velo a lot. Similar to a knuckle change. I mean, it is a knuckle change, but for all intents and purposes. Like some guys throw knuckle changeups, right? And they go, but they're kicking it. The thing is, knuckle changes, they want to get a little bit of a knuckle. They want to get like a slow knuckle spin. So kick change is like a version between a normal changeup and a knuckle. It's just like a little bit closer. It's hard to do, but it's for guys who struggle with the straight. So for whatever reason, it's for guys who throw good breaking balls. Generally. It's not necessarily trying to tumble. No, it's trying to slow it way down. You're trying to get crazy difference in velo. But yeah, that's what a kick change is. I also saw a video on tread. Kick change did not exist the term kick change was not popular last year when I was playing. So I actually didn't hear it that much, and I'm going a lot of anecdotal evidence. But there's not a lot of big leaguers throwing it yet, but it will. It's all about velo separation. Yeah. Yes. That's what they're going for. For the most part. It's for guys who throw power changes who are struggling to take velo off of it and maybe can't throw maybe they're super pronators and for whatever reason they just can't get the spin screwbally enough to get it to fade, so they have to find another way. The player coach who developed that pitch to get royalties. I mean, it's just people tinkering, man. What up, SK? How we doing? Eddie 27 with the 5 months. Thank you, Eddie 27. Let's get some Team A 01s in the chat. Thank you. Thoughts on two-seam fastball being called changeups on TV sometimes? It's an automated system, right? It's programmed in before happens. Like I had a couple changeups called four seams last year because they carried like crazy for some reason. They were just funky. But it happens. And then we have the splinker, right? Guys are throwing sinkers like this, like the Skeens and the Ben Joyces, when in reality it's just a sinker or two seam. And they've changed it to sinker and two seam for those two guys because splinker, whatever. Do you think more pitchers will start throwing knuckleballs because of Waldron? No. You throw a knuckleball when you can't throw anything else. Champagne poopy. Now, will more guys give it a shot? Maybe. Jim Palmer notably just calls everyone's changeup a split change. Yeah, Cool, Jim. Don't even attempt to understand, because you're a Hall of Famer. Should MLB change the surface of the ball with help grip? It would help. It would be nice. How's retirement been? Phenomenal. Methanol cereal. Ugh. You're funny for a Canadian? Who the f is a Canadian? I'm not Canadian. Get out of here with that shit. Say you're struggling to break from AAA. Would drop down before throwing a knuckleball? I mean, it depends on what you naturally do, Branch. Like, depends on what's naturally good for you. Perfect lineup for pitches for tunneling? The perfect pitches that naturally tunnel with each other are fastball change, fastball splitter, fastball split change, fastball off speed. Fastball off speed. Then hard slider, then bigger slider. The more it moves, the harder it is to tunnel. If that makes sense. Why the unloved for the knuckleball? Unloved? Why no love? Is that what you're asking? Pitchers don't have to throw as hard. You're acting like people don't want to throw hard or something. Everyone wants to throw hard. You don't want to not throw hard. Everyone wants to throw hard. It's more fun. That's why. It's a last resort because you want to throw hard. Because throwing hard is projectable. Because throwing hard will get you opportunities. Throwing soft won't. It's not rewarded. So until it's rewarded, people will try to do. It's about incentives. It's called habits, like routines and rewards. You do things so you're rewarded, especially in competitive competition. You do stuff because you think it'll help you win. Throwing hard is linked with winning. Until winning being in your career and the game. Like, if you're not given opportunities because you throw hard, because they're worried about you getting injured, you're going to stop throwing hard. You get concerned for injuries over the years? Yeah, of course. But that doesn't matter. It's worth it. But then you have teams that just run guys into the ground anyways. So, like, it's not just the player's fault that get hurt. And this is like this thing that is implied, and it drives me crazy that it's always like, hey guys, players, just make this decision so you don't get hurt as much. Like, as if they're worried about getting hurt. They're not. They're just doing what the game is asking them to do so that they can be successful. They are reacting to the power, the people who make the decisions, what they're looking for. So it starts with them, not the player. It starts with the people who make the decisions. And that's all the way down to Little League. Even when you were 12, you would do more of the stuff that got you on the All-Star team if that's what you wanted to do. Regardless if it got you hurt or not. Would you rather throw 96 or a sinker like Brandon Webb? Logan Webb? Brandon Webb? 96. There was a video just posted by Umpire. It's literally pitch. Many pitchers are trying to learn so they can either save their career or a chance to have one. Wakefield and Dickey. That's exactly what the knuckleball is for. It's called a novelty pitch. Not everyone can throw it, but it can revive your career and keep you playing longer. Did you ever play or train with Sean Heil? No, I don't. I haven't. I'm a 6'10 pitcher. I like watching him work. I try to mentor because he's also tall. I'm also a victim of the Aaron Judge effect. Yeah, actually, his swing might work for you. It doesn't work for everybody. It might work for you. Do you think instituting a league-wide off day each week for MLB would be helpful for players? 1,000%. You know who wouldn't be helpful for? Owners. It's comical to think about how unlike that. I can't think of anything more unlikely than getting a weekly off day. Do you have equal pressure points when throwing a two-seam? Did I? Yes. Is that the best way to do it? No. Teddy, we're going to do that every other week. So next week's our Nasty's pitch of the week. What is your opinion on the Atlantic League? The Atlantic League's like AAA or between AA and AAA. But I think independent leagues are really cool because they have autonomy to do the things they want to do as well. So it's a really interesting product. I'll just look at the Bananas, right? They're extreme case, but I like the Atlantic League. I like the Long Island Ducks. I love that guys can go have an opportunity. And guys like Pablo Sandoval, who just wants to play, like Robbie Cano just wants to play, right? He's not worried about getting back to the big leagues. These guys aren't trying to get back to the big leagues. They just want to keep playing, which I think is cool. If that's what you want to do, having places to do that is great. I know Brandon Wim had an Aston sinker, but I knew that's not what we were talking about. We're talking about Logan. Have you considered playing for the Nanas? The reason I'm not playing baseball right now is because I don't want to play baseball right now. If I wanted to play baseball right now, I'd be playing in the major leagues. But someday, sure, if I want the taste, I miss it. I miss it. I miss competing. I miss being really good at stuff also. I miss being a world class at something, and I'm not anymore. And that sucks ass. But yeah, that's what I would do. That's what I would pursue. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I would just go for have fun, but I'm currently not wanting to do it. You broken bat stats matter? No, bats don't break anymore, Paul. You can't really go off that anymore. Bats break at like 10% of the rate they used to break, and it's not because of pitching. It's because the bats are made differently. They're harder. They're meant not to break because it's a safety thing. How's your baking been going? Haven't been baking as much as I'd like to, Brian, but I just saw a sourdough fried peaches recipe, and I am making the shit out of that. Probably next week, because I'll have to do this week. But if you had your pick, who would you play for in the big leagues? Ems? I think baseball doesn't exist. Yeah, it's the most recent video. Go watch it. It's really cool. Why no one throws it. And they actually talk a lot about how it's a kind of a last resort. It's really cool. It's great. Baseball doesn't exist as such awesome stuff that I think there's a day at some point in the indefinite future where it'd be really cool to see if they would want to do like a documentary or something together. Because I think they're really good at writing their videos, really good at telling the story. And then I could do like actually go do interviews and stuff for it. I think it'd be fun. I know that's just an idea. I love those guys. I mean them and Foolish, right? Bailey, Foolish Baseball and Baseball Doesn't Exist. They do some of the best like breakdowns of things going on in the game and have gone in the game, and also nostalgia stuff that I've seen. I like those. Hey, Raptor, that's awesome, bro. Thanks for saying that. I'm super happy I was able to help. Favorite Trevor that played, still playing in the big leagues? Trevor Williams. Easy. How do you throw a sinker? It's just a two-seamer. A lot of guys shift it like this. A lot of guys throw it like this now. This is how Clay Holmes' spins. Like that, seam shifted. My son started playing T-ball. Any pointers? Just teach him the super duper basics. When to catch the ball like this, when to catch the ball like this, and then just where to throw the ball in certain situations. That's it. Just be like, here's how when it's here, you catch it here. When it's here, you catch it here. Teach him that habit. Teach which base to throw to. And when it comes to swinging, like hitting, just say swing. Swing all the time. Just swing, swing, swing. Teach him to throw lefty. Yeah, well, only if you want him to be a pitcher. If you want him to play any other position besides first base and outfield. Who's my favorite teammate, manager, pitching coach? I don't have a favorite teammate. I've had a lot of really great teammates. Some of my good friends were the Taylor-Tyler combination. Taylor-Tyler and Trevor with the twins. We all came up together. We had our formative years together. Those are probably my best buddies. We talk regularly. Especially we just recently talked about the bullpennium photo we took. And then like Rocco Baldelli is the man. Paul Molitor is a great manager. Really like playing for him. Buck was great. I like playing for Kotze. Like I've not had a manager I didn't like. And then Hefner is my favorite pitching coach, though. That's for sure. Jeremy Hefner. Do I take the Astros money line tonight? I don't know. Good luck. Do you think Pete Alonso will be staying with the Mets? Only if he takes the team friendly. Is Plouffe as goofy as he seems talking to baseball? I think it's so funny that you see him as goofy. Because I don't think he's goofy enough. But yeah, he is. He's a laid back, fun loving dude. What did you do for recovery? Full arm rotation, full arm program, bands, six backs, body blade. I had a resistance based system with a little device called a tin deck. It's for rock climbers. I do a video on it, by the way. 10 things that I do every day or do to keep me in shape. Or whatever. I have a video from the season of that. You should go check that out. It'll tell you more about the Tim deck. Those are the big things. And then I used a Mark Pro instead of ice. H-Wave. Is there any hope for the Reds this season? Wildcard spot. There's hope for everybody. Why do Mets pitchers keep walking, guys? Because they're not throwing in the box. Most fundamentally sound pitcher in the league right now? Ooh. Skeens is up there, man. A guy who's fundamentally sound that you should always pay attention to is Zach Gallen. Yeah, a lot of fun baseball going on. All right, guys. We hit the 2 hour and 30-minute mark. That's where I got to go. Burns is close to. I got to take off. It was great hanging out, talking. Next week, Monday. Every week after that, Monday. Also, if you don't know, you're like, oh, when was the stream? It'll be in the Discord. So join the Discord, !point Discord. Before you leave YouTube, make sure that you like the stream. Everyone go to the YouTube channel, click on like, interact with it so that it gets in the algo. The algo. And it'll also be on the Twitch schedule. On Twitch, you can go and click on schedule, and it'll tell you when the stream is that week. It'll be Monday. It'll be 8 a.m. And also, Discord, we want to do the breakdowns. What we talk about? We said, if you want a pitch sequence breakdown, just go tell me which pitch sequence, who's hitting, or who's pitching, and what inning and what game, what the date is, or a moment. Just link the video of the moment. We can do a breakdown of that. And then I want to do some matchup scouting reports as well. So like I do on Sunday Night Baseball, I go this pitcher versus this hitter. This is where I would throw this, whatever. And maybe we'll do a poll and we'll pick that way. All right. Like and subscribe. My goal by the end of this year, guys, is 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. It was 100,000 on TikTok. We got that. Big thumbs up. But I'm going to hold off on the celebration until the end there. And then the last thing I got is merch. Exclamation point merch. Hey, thank you for the raid, Knuckle BTW. We're about to send him somewhere else, though. Thank you, though. I hope your stream went really well. We got our Just Punch tickets. This is the Mets version. Sorry, this is the Flushing version. And then we have the Just Punch ticket shirts from San Francisco Yankees. So we have 6 of these up. We have 2 hats up, and then we have the stickers for every team. So you can get stickers. Everything is 20% off here at launch too. Stickers for every single team in 3 different sizes. They're pretty neat. They're pretty cool. Hope you enjoy them. By the way, they're listed at 3, 4, and 5 inches, 5.5 inches. They're like 2, 3, and 4 inches based on the margin here. So just so you know. Just Punch tickets. Yes, it's just like NPR. That's exactly. I'm glad you got it. Just Punch tickets. Just Punch tickets, guys. Wear it to your game, your favorite game. These shirts are super comfy. Super comfy. They're sick, and they come in a bunch of different colors. So, I hope you like them. Flushing, New York. The Bronx, New York. Toronto, Los Angeles, Washington, Boston. So you can just find your team and get the thing you like. I hope you like them. I designed all these myself. I hope you enjoy them. And, yeah. Means a lot. All right, guys. You guys have a good one. And I will see you next time on the channel. You're all so cute. Drink your water. Watch some baseball. And tell your kids you love them. All right? What are we doing here? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. When are you going to be in the Mets booth for the game? They have to invite me. It's kind of full up in that booth. I think they got it covered, but hey, anytime